Hey guys, this is Justin back with Engineer's Perspective. The year is 2022. U2 still hasn't found what they're looking for, but don't worry, because I have, and that is CPM-4V. So today is initial impressions on both the Para 3 lightweight design and 4V as heat treated by Spyderco in this year knife. And overall, very positive. Let's just start out with the knife real quick. Linerless FRN handles. Love the St. Nick's color. I've been trying to get this for so long. So it's super light, super strong, no concerns there at all. Action right out of the box was amazing. It did keep loosening up, so I did have to Loctite it. But no up and down, no side to side. Very free moving, great detent. Super rounded over handles, ultra comfortable, ultra light. Love this, the wire pocket clip deep carry. I love that it's the blacked out version too. I don't know if they all come black or not. Don't know. I just wanted to bring in the Bugout really quick because I feel like these are probably the closest comparison between the two. And it's certainly not as svelte as the Bugout is. So, I mean, it doesn't hit those marks, and the Bugout comes with decent geometry on its blade, but in terms of like actual feel in the hand, and I trust both of these going through some abuse too, by the way. I prefer the Para 3 lightweight. This thing is just like melts into my hand, but really do love the Bugout design. Anywho, so that's all that. Love the knife. I do think it's a bummer that they've got the screwed stop pin, but I mean, they have to. They can't step it into FRN on that side, so it's fine. It's good. It's great. On to CPM-4V. So 4V is another very basic CPM vanadium carbide steel in the series of like 3V, 4V, 10V, 15V. Where it is non-stainless, and it was designed specifically to only form vanadium carbide, and it's called 4V because they added 4% vanadium into the chemistry along with a dollop of carbon. I'm sure there's like 4% or 5% chromium or something in there. It doesn't form chromium carbides, but helps with heat treating and grain refinement. Doesn't make it stainless. That's probably it. Don't know, didn't look it up. But the point being is that this stuff gets a very fine grain structure and has very high toughness because it only has vanadium carbides, and it doesn't have a ton, about 8%, 8 volume percent vanadium carbide. And it gets super hard. You see some of this custom stuff pretty high up there, but I mean, I think these have been, these St. Nick's 4V knives have been seen pretty regularly in the ballpark of about 65 Rockwell. So you're talking a very hard knife, not quite Rex 45 hardness levels, but certainly it seems to be where they're running like K390 and harder than a lot of the American 10V K390. So very, very hard in the spectrum of knives. And what I wasn't so sure about is it's got high hardness, not as high as Rex 45, but it's got a slightly higher carbide volume, and 4V has pure vanadium carbides, whereas Rex 45 doesn't have much at all. What that sharpening experience was going to be like, and man, I'm not sure if I have a soft version of it. The way it's wearing in actual EDC use does not feel soft. It sharpens like crazy. Oh my goodness. It sharpens so much faster than Rex 45. Rex 45 feels like it's hard as piss when you sharpen it, and it comes up pretty clean, but I'm gonna step down to a coarse stone to sharpen that. Whereas this stuff, I mean, I don't feel like I would go straight to like an 800F Neve or maybe even a 3K Super Vitrified. Not that you couldn't on those, but I'd be inclined to start at like a medium grit, I think. but it sharpens up really fast. You can move steel on it, and it comes up so sharp, like so sharp. And I feel like it's easier to keep aggression with this than it is with something like Crewwear. But it's not the stickiest steel out there by any means, I don't think. But it is a really sweet sharpening steel, and it strops back really nice. I think that's partly because of the high hardness of it doesn't allow that apex to get very damaged, in conjunction with 8% vanadium carbide, which is enough to also support that edge from wearing back. And what you get is something that has very nice upfront fine edge retention, but that does break down not into like the world's best working edge, not anything like K390, 10V, 20CV, or even M4 territory, but enough. So I can see why Laren targeted this for Magna Cut. But that is kind of the next part of the discussion. Is I feel like this works because it's at the higher hardness, just like Rex 45. I don't think I would enjoy, matter of fact, I know I had HAP 40 and it was probably more like 61, 62 Rockwell. I don't enjoy these carbide volumes, these levels of carbide, until you get to a high enough hardness, because there's not enough carbide at the edge to prevent edge wear at a rate that I appreciate. And so you need the hardness to back it up. You know, I should make a curve, and I probably will make a video where carbide volume is plotted against hardness, and you can see my line of like, I appreciate these steels performance, because you know, the hardness and the carbide volume play into it. The higher the carbide volume, the lower in the hardness that I can go and still have fun with it. An example of that would be like my M390 Para 3. I guarantee that M390 is softer than everything here. Notice how I took that out. Softer than all of these here. And it probably has a total carbide volume higher than anything here. And you can tell. And I think, and it's very enjoyable. And the upfront sharpness lasts a crazy long time because it has those carbides supporting the apex, so that it doesn't break down into a full working edge too quickly. So this, I think, is the better blend of properties than the factory Magna Cut that I used in the Mule, in my opinion. And that was kind of my one criticism of Magna Cut, is I think in terms of stainless steels, especially heat treating it as high as people seem to be doing, I think it's really near the top of the heap depending on what you got. I gotta take a sip here. Got the COVID, so it's hard to breathe. But so yeah, that Magna Cut's top of the heap. But when I flip over to these non-stainless alloys, like 4V is just right over here hanging out saying, hey, I can get significantly harder in a factory heat treat. And what I get is a knife I enjoy a heck of a lot more. I've hit a couple staples with this blade. You can see the DLC is super scratched up from cutting a whole bunch of carpet. So yeah, I cut out a whole bunch of carpet with this knife. It was great. The edge damage on it was very light, but you know, not sharp anymore from the staples. I did also, I don't have it, but one of my Swiss Army knives got all snurgly on the little aluminum liners, so I kind of cut out the aluminum with this, and that definitely rolled the edge. But hey, yeah, so initial impressions, love the design, love the execution. The steel is on the lower end of the carbide volumes that I enjoy, but it's at a high enough hardness where it's pretty dang fun. It is so great to sharpen. It is, I'm not going to go as far as say my favorite steel to sharpen, which would probably be Crewwear is my favorite high alloy steel to sharpen, being crewware. I don't know if this takes the cake from that or not, but it may. It's really great stuff. So the lesson of today is that both carbide volume and hardness matter, and they interact in carbide type too. But yeah, so really like the knife. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So that's all I've got. Have a good one. Bye.